Okay, so a few people asked me to do number 6, 7, and 9 from your homework, so I want to do those very quickly. Shouldn't take very long. Probably will take me longer to draw it than anything else. So we have a circle, and in that circle we have a center, and we have a radius going out here, and a radius going out here. We have a line coming out to this corner, and a line coming to this corner, and then a line coming out here, and a line coming out here. They say this angle is 80 degrees. They want to know this angle right here, they call it number 1, and they want to know this angle right here, they call it number 2. So, in order to figure this out, personally, I would probably do number 2 before I would do number 1, but that may just be me. I could do number 1, doesn't really matter. All right, let's do number 1 first. Let's do number 1. For number 1 is a central angle. I'm going to use a different color here. Number 1 is a central angle. It happens at the center of the circle. It comes out to this point and this point, meaning it is subtended or it is joined. Someone said they didn't know what subtended meant. Subtended just means that it is joined by the edge of the circle by these 2 points, okay? So this central angle comes out to here and here, so it is subtended or it is joined by that part of the circle. This is an inscribed angle. It's one on the edge of the circle. It also comes out to this point and this point. So it is also subtended or it is joined by the same arc. So when a central angle and an inscribed angle, one on the edge, are subtended by the same arc, the central angle is always 2 times bigger than the inscribed angle. So for number 1, I would just do 2 times 80 is 160 degrees. And that's really all you have to do in terms of showing me work, because what that tells me is that you knew that this one is 2 times bigger than this one. And that's really all I need to know that you know. So to figure out number 2, in this section, we talked about cyclic quadrilaterals. So that is 4-sided objects where the corners are all at the edge of a circle. And one of the theorems said that opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary, meaning they add up to 180. So for number 2, I would say that 80 degrees plus the number 2 angle have to equal 180 degrees. This one plus this one has to equal 80. So that means the number 2 angle has to be 180 minus 80, which is 100 degrees. And again, that's really all the work that you'll need to show. You don't really need to show any more than that. So that's number 6. Number 7. Oops. Number 7 has a circle, and it has the center of the circle is here. It comes out to here and to here, and then here and here and here and here. So something like that. And they tell you this angle right here is 55 degrees. they ask for number 1, and I'm going to label them letters instead. I'm going to call this X, I'm going to call this Y, and I'm going to call this Z. So when I'm putting them in an equation, it's not like a number instead. And then they tell you that this is 65 degrees. So again, I need to see what can I figure out. And you might see something, you might see Y before you see X. It's fine, you don't have to do them in order. Do whatever you see first. In terms of figuring out X, it's very similar to the last question we just did. This angle comes out to this point and this point, meaning it is subtended by this angle. The ends are joined by that arc, by that part of the circle. Also, for angle X, it also comes out to here and here, meaning it is subtended again by the same arc that this 65-degree angle is. This is a central angle, this is an inscribed angle. So X has to be 2 times bigger than the 65-degree angle because a central angle is 2 times bigger than its inscribed angle. So 2 times 65, if I do my math right, is 130 degrees. Now, the mistake that people make here is they look at this little quadrilateral in here and they go opposite angles have to add up to 180, so 130 plus what makes 180, but that's wrong because that applies to cyclic quadrilaterals. Quadrilaterals where the corners are at the edge of the circle. That corner's not at the edge of the circle, so that doesn't work. What does work is this, and I'll use a different color again. What does work is this. There's side 1, there's side 2, there's side 3, there's side 4. By completely ignoring this and this, I have a cyclic quadrilateral. It's just a weird shaped one, but it's still 4-sided. 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, opposite angles are supplementary. They have to equal 180 degrees. So 65 is opposite this one. And so I would say that I would say that Y plus 65 have to equal 180 degrees. So Y is 180 minus 65, which would be, what, 115? Hopefully I did that right in my head. My calculator's not up here, so I'm doing that in my head. Then we have to figure out Z. Honestly, I don't know where to go here yet. I have to look at it for a minute. This doesn't necessarily just pop into my head any better than it pops into yours. I've just had more practice. Let me see. Well, any 4-sided object, no matter what it is, any 4-sided object, the angles all have to add up to give me 360 degrees. So if I know this one is 130 degrees, and I know that this one is 115 degrees, and I know that that one is 55 degrees, if I add those up, 130 and 115 and 55, that would be, 5, 6, 7, that'd be 10, carry the 1, 1, 2, 3. That would be 300. And again, in a 4-sided object, whether it's cyclic or not, in a 4-sided object, all the angles have to add up to 360. Just like in a triangle, all the angles have to add up to 180. in a four-sided object, all the angles have to add up to be 360. So Z plus 130 plus 115 plus 55 have to give me 360. And so Z then should be 60 degrees. Now, I have not checked these answers in the back of the book. If I'm getting something wrong, you can email me, you can hang out me, you can contact me, and you can let me know, hey, you screwed it up, because I could have. And I'm not bothering to check right this minute, because you watching me standing here flipping through a book is not very interesting. So last one is number 9. Oh, number 9 looks like fun. Number 9. My circles get worse the longer I do them. Number 9 has a circle. It has a center, but here's the bad part. There's a line going across, and it's close to the center, but it's not through the center. And then there's a line going here, and 2 lines here, and then this extends. All right, and they want to know, again, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z rather than 1, 2, and 3. They tell me that this is 100, and they tell me that this is 45. All right, so the fact that this line isn't going through the center really messes things up on us, because we don't have a central angle. We can't say that that's a radius or that that is a radius, because I don't know that it is. So we have to see, what can we figure out? Let's see. If you know, yell at your screens right now. I think I can actually figure out Z first. Now, I am going to flip to the back of the book for this one just to be sure I'm right, because I have a theory, but I want to make sure my theory is correct, and I have a dog falling down steps. That doesn't sound good. All right, so for number 9, yeah, all right. So for number 9, my first theory is correct. I'm actually going to figure out Z first. Here's why. There is a theorem about cyclic quadrilaterals. I talked about it in the previous video. And it said, if you want to know an exterior angle to a cyclic quadrilateral, it is the same as the interior opposite angle. So interior opposite. So Z has to equal 100. There's no work to show there, because it just is, okay? I find once I get one angle, very often the rest of them fall into place. And that's what I'm noticing here, because now I can figure out X. This is a straight line. So I know that X plus Z have to be 180 degrees, because that's a straight line. So that's half a circle. So that's got to be 180 degrees. So if I know that Z is 100, X plus 100 is 180, and so X would equal 80 degrees. So that's what I would get for X. So I have X is 80 degrees, which helps Y fall into place, because here I have a triangle right here. I have a triangle. And it doesn't matter where the triangle is. If I have a triangle, all the angles in a triangle, no matter where you put the triangle, all the angles in the triangle have to add up to 180. So 80 plus 45 plus whatever Y is has to be 180. Well, 80 and 45 is 125 plus Y is 180. So Y is 180 minus 125, which would be what? Not not 45, it would be like 55. Is that what it would be? I'm trying to do it in my head. Yep, 55. All right, so that's how I would do number 6, 7, and 9. The only thing you're doing today is watching this video and making sure you understand it. Please go back and look. If you have any questions, if you still don't understand something, please contact me. We can do a video chat maybe to talk about it. If we need to, we'll figure out a way to make it make sense. If you need to, watch this video a couple of times. Again, if you're not understanding something when I'm teaching it, check out other people's channels. Google it on YouTube. Like, just put it in the search bar. Khan Academy has some good ones. Don't watch one that's like 2 hours long. You're going to be bored out of your mind. But see if you can find someone who explains it in a way that makes sense to you. So yeah, that's number 6, 7, and 9. Talk to you again soon.